Imagine dedicating your entire life to taking care of a loved one, a daughter who, due to a severe illness, is confined to a wheelchair, unable to move independently. All your time, energy, and love are focused on ensuring she has the most dignified life possible. But what if one day you discovered something absolutely shocking? Something that completely changes your perception of reality? This is what happened to Tom, an elderly man who, after years of sacrifice, decided to install cameras to monitor his house. And what he discovered left him speechless. Stay with us, because what you're about to hear might shake you to your core. Tom had no idea that something so strange and unsettling was happening right under his nose. Before we dive into the details, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and if you want to keep discovering incredible stories like this, give this video a like. Now get ready, we're about to tell you a story you won't forget anytime soon. Tom's life was never easy. As a young man, he worked as a bricklayer in a small town in southern Italy, supporting his family through hard work, but always with a smile. His greatest pride was his daughter, Fran, a cheerful and lively girl who loved running in the fields and playing with her friends. Unfortunately, when Fran was just 8 years old, a terrible car accident forever changed the course of their lives. Fran was left paralyzed from the waist down, and her life, as well as her father's, would never be the same again. From that moment on, Tom had to quit his job to take care of her full time. Despite the pain and challenges, Tom's love for Fran never wavered. Every day was dedicated entirely to her. He would bathe her, feed her, and talk to her with tenderness, trying to make her forget, even for a little while, her condition. But as the years passed, things became increasingly difficult. Tom was aging, his strength waning, and the thought of not being able to care for Fran any longer tormented him. For this reason, he decided to seek outside help. After hiring several caregivers to help take care of Fran, Tom realized that he couldn't always be present to monitor how his daughter was being treated. His concerns grew, and the thought of not knowing what was happening in the house when he wasn't there gnawed at him. It became harder to sleep peacefully, especially after hearing stories on television about abuse and mistreatment of vulnerable people. One day, talking to a friend, he was advised to install security cameras in the house so he could monitor the situation even when he wasn't around. At first, Tom hesitated. He didn't want to seem paranoid or intrusive, but eventually, his concern for Fran outweighed everything. He decided to install 2 cameras, one in Fran's room and the other in the living room, where they spent most of their time together. After installing the cameras, Tom began checking the footage every day, but at first, everything seemed normal. The caregivers did their job, Fran was calm, and there were no signs of mistreatment or strange behavior. This reassured him, and for a while he stopped worrying. But one night, something strange happened. Tom was abruptly awakened by an unusual noise coming from Fran's room. He grabbed his phone and started checking the footage from the camera. What he saw left him speechless. In the video, he could clearly see Fran, who was supposed to be completely paralyzed, slowly getting out of bed. She looked around as if confused, then sat back on the bed, motionless. Tom immediately thought it was a camera error or an illusion caused by fatigue, but he decided to check the recordings from the previous days. To his great surprise, he discovered that the same scene had happened multiple times. Fran would get up, walk around the room, and then return to bed as if nothing had happened. Tom was shocked. He couldn't understand what was happening. His daughter had been paralyzed for years, and doctors had confirmed that there was no chance of recovery. Yet, the footage was clear. Fran was moving. He decided not to say anything to her or the caregivers, but continued to monitor the cameras more closely. Weeks went by, and the situation didn't change. Fran continued to act normally during the day, unable to move, but at night, the cameras showed the same eerie scene. Tom was on the brink of despair and started to wonder if something supernatural was at play. Tom decided to consult a specialist, a psychologist experienced in unexplained phenomena. When he showed the recordings, the psychologist was left speechless. He had never seen anything like it. They decided to conduct a series of neurological tests on Fran to see if there was a medical explanation behind this nocturnal behavior. After several examinations, the doctors discovered something astonishing. Fran suffered from a rare form of sleepwalking. Despite being paralyzed, during the deepest phases of sleep, her body seemed to remember how to move. It was an extremely rare neurological phenomenon, and what made it even more incredible was that Fran had no memory of these episodes. During the day, her paralysis remained complete, but at night, in a semi-conscious state, her body managed to perform limited movements. Tom didn't know how to handle the situation. Should he tell Fran what he had discovered? In the end, he decided to talk to her, hoping to find an explanation. When he showed her the recordings, Fran was incredulous. She didn't remember any of what was happening at night, and the idea of walking again, even in a semi-conscious state, shocked her. After the consultation with the doctors, however, Fran began to accept the situation. Even though she couldn't control those moments, she felt a kind of relief knowing that, in some way, her body wasn't entirely lost. What Tom had discovered through the cameras forever changed their relationship. Although Fran's life hadn't improved physically, the idea that her body could still move, even if only during sleep, gave her a new sense of hope. They began working with doctors to see if these unconscious movements could be harnessed to develop new therapeutic approaches. Tom, for his part, continued to care for Fran as he always had, but with a new understanding. Life, even in its most complex forms, can hold unexpected surprises.